I keep it 100, like boarding in the streets, but especially when recording. Mint tea and a spliff in the morning, then I beat up the beat like doors to a Mormon. Mama said the devil find works for bored men and leave trouble only white men can afford them. I try to put my focus on the Lord then, but like Hocus, I was back up in the Trojan. Wanna invest in the future? You should let me sign up.
It's crazy, dog. AK, bro. What going, bro?
You already know.
I don't even gotta introduce you, bro. You know what I'm saying? They already know what time it is, dog.
Yo, bro. You know,
Chilling. Yeah, you good?
Yeah, man, for sure.
I want to get into the more history with you because I feel like, you know, you've been around the DJing game a long time. You know what I'm saying? Let's start with you. Where were you born?
Well, fortunately, I was born here still, Montreal.
Fortunately.
Yeah, fortunately.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know,
Yeah.
shout out to Mom Dukes, shout out to the whole Jamaica family. Like, you know, I'm Jamaican born, like, you know, like from Jamaican parents, but I'm born here, fortunately. You know, like, as a branch off of my family, I was actually the firstborn Canadian child out of my family's bloodline. So, big up for that one, you know. It means a lot. But yeah, I was born here, still uptown, you know.
Oh, you were born in uptown?
Yeah, St. Justin Hospital, but, you know, grew up, raised in Cartierville.
Okay.
You know, also known as many things, you know.
The Bronx.
The Ville.
Cracktown.
Cartierville, Crackville.
Where
you know,
in
Dead Zone,
Cartierville?
shout out to the squad.
On Salaberry?
Yeah, I was born actually right by the bridge, right by Dudemaine and Grenette, right at the bridge itself. Like one of the first blocks on the block itself.
In
like,
the heart.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. How long did you live there before you moved somewhere else?
Well, I lived there most of my life, but I also shared part of my life in a part of Saint Laurent called Place Benoit, which I shout out to still.
Yo, not a lot of people know about the old school Place Benoit. That was a thing still. Like, that was a real bad man area at one point. You know what I'm saying?
That amongst many places in this city, which there wasn't a few on the west side when it comes to Caribbean, like, you know what I mean, culture and whatever. Place Benoit was one of them still. Sure. But it's one of those places that, like, you know, with time, you know,
because I used to live in Place Benoit a bit.
For sure.
As a little kid, like, this is probably like before.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Back
way before even elementary.
Before R. Kelly.
And I remember trying to play outside, and once it's late, they're like, nah, you gotta go in. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, you know, that was part of my bring up, or my come up, but yeah, mostly Cartierville, you know what I mean? Covert Shoe area, Saint Laurent, and can't forget Uptown, which was a big part of my whole.
Oh yeah, so like you raised in Ville Saint Laurent. What point did you go to Cartierville now?
No, I grew up.
What point did you go to Uptown now? Sorry.
I'm born in Cartierville from since I'm young.
Yeah.
So from since way back, can't count no numbers. You know what I mean? The numbers are up there. You know. You know, we've been around for a while. So.
How old are you?
Huh?
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay.
I'm 28.
Okay, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
We're the same age.
I'm 28.
We're the same age.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll just say, like, you know, I grew up in Cartierville.
Yeah.
And, like, because of school and, like, certain stuff, being in the Black Community Center and, like, being part of certain, you know, just Black people stuff, I transitioned uptown, you know, and part of the Black Community Center, I got introduced into, like, you know, after school programs and stuff like that, you know. So, you know, I tend to, I was more, you know, grounded around West Indian Black people, like things like, as a matter of fact, like, I didn't even know hip hop until like a certain age. You know what I mean? Like,
pure reggae.
Didn't know it.
Yeah.
I could sing songs.
Yeah.
Before I could even sing a hip hop song. You know what I mean? I could sing dancehall, reggae song before I could sing a hip hop.
What was your high school at?
High school, boy, I could say.
So what high school did you go to, by the way?
Shout out to La Voix, the one and only high school that I can say, like, you
La
know.
Voix?
which is in Uptown.
Uptown, yeah.
Which is part of my come up. Like,
How did you go to school in Uptown and you're living in
So
Cracktown?
now, being from a Jamaican background and being the first child born here, I wasn't allowed to go to French school back then. So what happened? I mean, I wasn't allowed to go to English school. Sorry.
So the English schools were Uptown.
No. I wasn't allowed to go to English schools. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to go to English schools. So by default, I had to go to French school. So I ended up Uptown after elementary. Obviously, I ended up Uptown to the most multicultural high school at our time in our side of the city. You know, the whole west side. So, you know, Lavwa was like basically, it was part of like immigrants and everything. So like you had multicultural in that one high school. So that's where basically I did most of my high school and finished my high school.
I guess that's where you met all of the Uptown man.
Yeah, I met a lot of people, not only Uptown, but and back then,
drop some
Uptown,
names. Who do you know from Uptown back in the day that you still keep in touch with right now?
Oh well, there's plenty, man. There's
drop a 1-2 names.
You know, from my high school or just from
high
Uptown?
school.
Well, shout out to Follow the Rhythm, Ellie. I just shouted him out the other day.
Okay.
Like me and him was in the same class. Like
Yeah.
we started this. Like you know what I mean? Like we are the
yeah.
jokers. We're the guys that get the vibe started at school. Whatever.
You were DJing from high school times?
Okay, you want to get into that?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
all
yeah.
right. So basically, I know music. I've been around like turntables, DJing from like, man, since like I'm 10 years old. You know, like shout out to Part1 once again, and that I can never stop shouting out because
A lot of spinning was happening, DJing was happening
when
over
it
there.
came-
Remember
when
that?
it came to
Remember
music-
loud music
when it came to
booming
music-
late at night? You're trying to sleep and the bear DJing.
Shout out to Black
Yeah.
Temple, shout out
Yeah.
to Black Crowd,
Yeah.
Look of Thunder, all of those, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Virgo sounds, like
Yeah.
shout out to enough big songs because that's how like honestly I transitioned in from listening to like tapes, you know what I mean? Just tapes, live recordings, and just I used to use that and put two boombox together and mix that like live. And I used to do that at my day camps and leaderships and I was doing this shit since time, you know? Yeah, for sure. So like shout out to them guys for sure. I can't, Look of Thunder, everybody, all of those guys I have a big up because without these guys I wouldn't even know music to the caliber that I know music or even have that drive that I have because they're the ones that I knew besides Jamaica, like besides big Jamaican songs and things. So
I remember meeting you through Tone, right? How do you know Tone?
well,
Creme
Tone,
Montreal.
that's
Shout
funny.
out Creme Montreal.
Shout out to Cream still because that's my dude from day one because we basically after I left the high school I had to go finish certain classes, right? So I could get my diploma, whatever, and enough of us ended up at a one school, James Lane. Shout out to James Lane. Rest in peace to Moose. Big man on campus. That's the man,
What happened to Moose?
Moose, is it Moose? I'm pretty sure it's Moose's name. It was one of the you call him the overseer, like he works for the school, and he's that black guy that just check for the young youths, you know what I mean? Look out for us, like although we were bad as yas, we were bad youths, you know what I mean? But good hearts and he seen that, so he looked out for us. But yeah, where I met Tones Malone, I call him, is from James Lane still.
I call him Malone.
Yeah, for sure. Tone Malone, the basketball,
Okay.
straight up, and
James Lane.
yeah, for sure. James Lane was a place enough of us met up from different high schools.
Yeah.
And we all ended up in that school.
Summer school?
No, adult school.
Okay, adult school.
Because
Okay.
we didn't finish our classes, so we had to go finish, So enough of us were over there, and we all just, it was a tight knit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether we were chilling, just to, freestyle or at that time I was already DJing. Shout out to Anthony G, Uptown Sounds, can never forget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was already DJing, so by then everybody's already going to our parties and doing all of that. So it's like meeting everybody intertwined into one high school. Things just got louder. So I know Tone's a long time, man. Like, and he's always been a good friend still because I met him separate from knowing everybody at school. You know.
Okay.
He's good peoples.
All right. What did you want to be as a kid?
Actually, I'll tell you straight, as electrician.
Why electrician? And how did you end up into DJing?
Well, I could say first it started by toys and, electronic toys and stuff like that.
Okay.
And, when it stopped working, decided a battery or, get a little short. And then from there, it just became when you got to school now and you got to learn, trades and, careers and professions. That one stuck out to me because, the science behind electric and all of that, you know what I mean? All of that connection. So I was just like, that was more.
Does that tie into DJing in any way?
Well, when it comes now to sound, electronic, whatever, we're not talking about bands no more, and you know what I mean? We're talking about projecting sound, everything, from stringing.
Even when DJ Toko was here, just talking about the beats per hour, the BPN and the this.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different other science behind it when it comes to BPMs and all of that. That's that's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
But as far as the music itself, it was just more like I got into it, because I don't know, I seen turntables, and I seen people play on it. I like the sound of it. And then from there, it just transitioned into, I wanted to play music. And then the sound of it, the electrics, the wiring, the setting up, that just struck me. It struck me and I was like, from electronics to sound system,
sound waves and stuff like that.
For me, the music and then the electronics behind it, I was like, back then there was no computer like that for us to be like, oh shit, I want to be IT. For me, it was just from a sound system to playing music and transitioning music. It was just, for me, I just fell in love with something that I was yet to even know yet, because I was still young.
For sure. Growing up in between Ville, Cracktown, Uptown, whatever, as young growing up, did you fall into the street life at any point? Were you trying to be a gangster or anything like that?
I can't lie.
Yeah.
I did have a good fair share, I won't generalize it because, shout out to the ones that keep on a straight path, you know what I mean, which is the right way. But some of us, we tend to experiment, and my experiment was the streets, and I had my fair share, which I wouldn't be here today without that, or I wouldn't be here sitting here talking to you about said things without that, you know what I mean? Confident in myself and way past that, you know what I mean?
What got you into that lifestyle?
Well, back to what I was saying, it was more like...
And was it more like a gangbanging fighting thing, or more like just making money, hustling, trapping thing?
At first, any kid, any kid, and, it stems a lot deeper, for me personally, I don't have family in Canada like that. Like I said, I'm the firstborn out of my bloodline outside of Jamaica like that.
Which part of Jamaica I'm from?
St. Elizabeth, Watchwell. Big up all the every day. But all to say is that...
It's funny, sorry, I thought St. Elizabeth had a lot more, obviously everybody's there, but a lot more clear, fair
light skin, but you have dark skin, you have light skin, you have Rasta man, you have Christian, no Christian out there.
Yeah, man, so out of many we are one, right?
Out of many people, one, you know. So basically...
You're saying you had no family here.
I didn't have no family here, and shout out to my sister still, Tashi. But we're 9 years apart. So at the time, my growing up was a lot different. And I'm talking I'm coming from the days of enough things with West Indian people, and you know, so I soaked in a lot of it. So the streets kind of just fell into it because it was a culture or a way of life at the time. You know what I mean? So can't say like, all right, there wasn't people that I could have followed and been like, all right, you guys are church-going people, or you guys are, you know, school-going, books, education, whatever. I'm a curious dude. I like to learn. I like to experience. I like to have the knowledge of it. So
that's where the attraction was, in the streets.
not necessarily. My friendship with my friends, we evolved into something that we didn't really choose. It was just there in front of us, and you know what I mean? Like we adapted.
You didn't choose.
We adapted with the times.
You had a choice. Or
We adapted with the times because at the time it was a neighborhood. It was, you know what I mean? Like we didn't have the resources, or you know what I mean, to keep us on a certain path. So I'm not gonna lie, sit here and be like, oh yo, you know, things were a bed of roses. You know what I mean? So yeah, life was what it was. We chose what we chose in life, you know, which also brings experience and knowledge. So I'm grateful for where I'm at, you know what I mean, with that. But, you know what I mean, I wouldn't suggest that for nobody to go down that path for sure.
how deep do you say you went into all of that?
Well, I could say I went as far as, you know, like, been incarcerated, you know, been in violent situations, you know, life or death.
Shout out, AK. He helped me down when we were locked up, dog. You know, you blessed me up with the loud family. Shit, I've always been you for that, dog.
We're gonna cut that one. We're gonna cut that one.
Hold on,
He
Don.
mid my time easy, dog.
Don, hold on. This is the first time on camera that we're hearing that you did jail time.
So, what advice? What advice do you have for what advice do you have for the youngins, for the little ones that are like, you know, might be in your situation? Are you worried they might see themselves leaning towards the street life? You know what I'm saying? What advice can you give them right now?
Listen, all I can say is there's some things that are for you and some things that are not for you. There's some things that God puts in your path that you can handle, and then there's some things you put in the path cannot handle yourself, and you should know better than that. That's all I can say on that, because I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yo, man, them should be out here doing that, or like just to get the experience. Oh, you gotta go through that. Like, nah, I'm not gonna sit here and do that, because honestly, shout out to my music again. Like, shout out to fucking music, to anybody out there listening. Like, yo, music will help save your life if that's your only option and you know you have a talent with it. Yo, exploit that.
But
Exploit
also, music, I feel, is the reason damaging these young people's life with the drill music and stuff like that. I feel like that's a big part of an influence.
Now, me being a DJ and being in the middle of that, I could tell you one thing. So, even as an adult, are you still gonna not watch a violent movie?
Oh, hell yeah, I love my action movies.
So then you can't sit there and
But
be
that's
like,
different,
No,
though.
how is that
It's
different?
different
How is that
because-
different? If
because,
you can
yo-
sit there and watch a violent movie, killing, bloody, all of that,
It's different.
and you pay your money to go watch that too. So you're telling me,
You know why?
You're telling
There's
me.
something about music that plays with like your emotions.
mind you, music,
Music, you can
music,
sit there and know that. I mean,
Oh,
movie,
wait.
you know it's a movie, but
Music can be edited.
Take care.
Music
take
can be
control of
edited.
you.
A movie can never be edited, my guy. They
What
put
do you
out
mean a
that
movie can be- a movie
They put out
can
that
be
movie. They put out that movie as is to make that movie as is.
You can make
whatever
edited
content it
versions
is,
of songs on the radio.
whatever content that is, my
There
guy.
is no-
That's what the content is. That's what you're paying
You
for.
can do that for music too. What are you talking about? You go and you make the style of music you want to
No,
make.
yeah.
Talk
But
about-
we're not talking about that. We're talking
Yeah.
about raw footage versus raw lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see, when it comes to music, you can portray it any way possible.
Exactly.
A movie, you can't. It's one way. It's from it gets produced. That's it. That's it.
Bro,
There's
you
no-
portray it the way that you had the mind of how you
Nah,
want the movie to
Bray,
go
nah,
before you even start off an act. But the director, the man writing the script of the movie,
Yeah.
he's the one that's narrating which
All
way
right,
he
so let
wants
me
it to
show
go.
you. So let me show you. You watch Black Panther, right?
Yeah.
You watch all those Italian gangster movies, right?
Yeah.
So what are you telling me right now, dog?
Okay, you do make a point when you say that though. Watching the mafia movies and watching like
my God.
those black movies we used to watch growing up, like Minister
Blue Hill
Society
Ave,
and
Boys in the
New
Hood,
Jack Boys
you
in
know
the
what I'm saying? New
Hood.
Jack City,
Those movies made
you
you
know
want
what
to
I'm
go
saying?
outside,
Don't
toke
be
a
a
gun and
menace.
rob a nigga too. Like, you know what I'm
Menace to
saying?
society.
Alive. Those movies had hard influence on us and made us want to be gangsters too. So
Yeah.
you right. You know what I'm saying? Movie, music, everything. But I'm saying the music nowadays is like that's like the forefront. There's different styles. I mean, there's different style of music.
As a DJ
too.
now, I understand what you're talking about
Yeah.
because now that plays a role in like performance as a DJ. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what kind of crowd you're gonna play for or like what kind of vibe they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know what type of generation of music to play for. You don't know what type of genre of music to play.
So how do you read that? You're going to go play. How do you read the crowd and how do you know what to play and what not to play?
For one, you're supposed to know the event you're getting booked for.
Okay, so you studied the event right off the top.
Well, for one, from
when
your
you say
top-
the event, you mean like the location?
if
and
somebody-
who's throwing the party?
If somebody books you for a haircut, my guy,
Yeah.
and they don't give you no idea what the hell they want, what are you supposed to do?
Freestyle that shit.
Freestyle and hope for the best, right? But being a real business person, give me an idea of what you're going for.
Show me a
So I
picture,
can,
see what you want.
you see, all right. Let me show you an example. You see, music is like barbering, and barbering and music is like art. When you look at it like that, now give me an idea for me to go and transition into your feelings, into your depth now.
But
You know
when
what I
somebody's
mean?
booking you, I feel like he wants you to figure that out. I don't feel like he's gonna tell you like, yo, it's gonna be this kind of crowd, that kind of.
All right,
play
so
this kind of
all right, let
music.
me show you an example. I get booked for all types of events. I
Yeah.
get booked like next week. I got a booking for a bar.
Yeah.
When I go out there, I play reggaeton. I play Celine Dion. I play anything, like anything that I know they can vibe to. That's not the same vibe as like when we're talking urban. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So and last year, let's just say like for one of my big events that I did, it was a 60th-year-old birthday party. You know what I mean? Like 100, 200 people about, and that's a 60-year-old.
Oh, for sure.
I ain't 60, dude. Like, you know what I mean? And I still have to figure it out. But it's the idea of, like, if you're going to book me, I need to know what, like, you know what I mean? What's the vibe here?
Okay.
Like, because you can see me play, but that doesn't mean that's what your
So
crowd
you're saying
is.
these are
You know what I mean?
conversations you have with the people that are booking
Oh,
you?
for sure. You
Okay.
have to. You have to.
Through the pain, through the struggle, if you try to reach, then you gon' pull a muscle. I did it all for the hustle, tryna ball, build, wrestle. Through the pain, through the heat, I can't take it, too much pain in these streets. I did it all for my peeps, I did it all in these streets.
Had a lot of pain in me, now I got these chains on me. Think my legs gave out the way I keep this cane on me.